On the night of July 17th, I finally learned, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Sasquatch can be active right next to some of the boldest expressions of human civilization. The microforest beside the solar power array is about a third of a mile from the site of a concert. But before we get to this night, let's first go back about 2.5 weeks to set the stage.
Would you look at this? A whole pine tree branch and several other pieces and debris and leaves and stuff shoved up into that crook. And nothing above it that they would just fall from like that. At the very least, I think what we have here is a mixture of Sasquatch work and human work. This to me looks Sasquatch. So we're going to record, and when the traffic calms down, we'll see if we can prove my hunch that they're operating in here. I think it would be funny if the audio reveals that it is human children making these, but that they do it between 2 and 3 in the morning. I didn't get anything on the recorder at all. It was a total washout. Nothing but rain showers and trucks on the highway. Turns out even in the middle of the night, they're long hauling it past there. So now I'm on the back side of the solar array, and up there is all those structures. And this is the street where the woman lives who wrote that report about all the breathing and disruption, commotion behind her house that one night not long ago. And although I don't know which house is hers, it's a very short street. There's only about a dozen houses. So this ravine, it turns out, runs right behind the street, which is interesting because ravines are very commonly associated with Sasquatch. They seem to like them to feel safe and hidden down inside because people don't climb down, especially steep ones, and to travel by at night. So I'm just going to go along here behind the street and see what becomes of the ravine. Okay, I'm down a little farther on the same street, and I'm seeing neither of these grew here, and they go up opposite one another. Neither of those grew here either. Nor did this one. This big honking slice of a bigger tree is just leaned up against here. This isn't exactly a pine tree top, but a thick limb just lying here among a lot of empty branches with no green needles. And Kevin, at least this was pretty recent. It's kind of reminiscent of the sparser structures over next to the solar array that I think might be kids, but definitely not kids over here. It's kind of no man's land. These two are two separate branches wedged in here. I wasn't going to even film this until I found out they were separate. The first one is either broken or growing down. Alex, I'm going to try to remember what you told me about. But these two are completely not. See, it's separate. It's separate from this. And this third parallel, I'll show you. Oh, okay. It's broken down to join the parallels. But this one is not just broken off. It's not, it didn't come from here. Ooh, look at those. On both sides. Let's check it out. All those of you who are bored by stick structures have probably tuned out long ago. So I've just got the die-hard core. Broken. Here's right another. It's kind of mirroring each other. That's what they seem to do. Make it somewhat symmetrical. There's just too many leans around here for it to be random. How many times I've said that over the years. Little leans, parallels like this are really a perfect kind of communication system to go under the radar of almost all human awareness. If you make a big teepee structure or something like that, very blatant, people are going to notice, but no one who's not a geek in these matters is going to look twice at something like this. Here we have nothing above that would produce something like this here. And it's not one thing wedged in, but two. What are the chances that two would blow here? See this separate. They're both wedged in there together. I am so confused right now. I had no idea this was here. I just walked out of the woods. I heard this hum. Substation. I never even found this in my research about local stations. How bizarre. I don't know where I am in relation to the solar array, and I certainly don't know why I didn't see this on Google Earth. So here it is. Duh. Just about maybe 200 yards from the solar panels. Is this the end of the little street in question? Holy smokes. Well, no wonder you had a Sasquatch in your backwoods. Honey, you're right next to both an electric substation and a gigantic solar power farm. And actually, now that I realize there's two rich supplies of electromagnetic energy right here, I'm starting to wonder whether maybe the structures are the real deal after all. This is a good place for it. It's the end of a long trail leading down this ridge, and there's the ravine on that side, the neighborhood road up there, and a higher ground up there.
I've chosen this spot because it's just about equidistant between the electric substation and the solar power array. With another ravine on this side, so the acoustics should be good. Well, I wasn't really happy with the recordings that we got the other night, except the first one was a definite knock at about 200 feet. And the tappings, I don't know what else they could have been, except the world's slowest woodpecker. But I'm looking for something more dramatic tonight. So here's the recorder. And here's the wonderful, wonderful structure we found a couple weeks ago, you remember, maybe 3 weeks. There's a concert about a third of a mile away. I just picked up the recorder. See, this had a huge part of itself sheared off. You can see that. And, oh, there it is now. That's the sheared off part. You can tell it's the same shape. Big at the bottom, and then tapering off. And somehow It's wound up back up the hill from here, up the hill, and in between these two. That took some muscle power. And these are broken in two different directions up here. Kind of suspicious. This is split in two. How does that happen? Jeez. Wouldn't really want to meet the force behind this work.